Are you tired of your mindless minions? Do you want a necromancy spell with a little bit more oomph? Well, then you've come to the right place, because today I have 5 brand new necromancy spells that you can use at your table today. Starting off, we have the 3rd level Vengeful Burden. You point at a creature you can see within 120 feet and curse them. The next time that creature deals damage, it automatically takes necrotic damage equal to half the damage it dealt. The description might not sound too impressive, but think about the implications of it. A creature cursed by Vengeful Burden has to think about whether they want to go wild and take half that damage, or be a little bit more conservative, holding back, dealing less overall damage, but taking less damage themselves. Now, you may or may not see that as very impactful, but you could also look at it as a way that you postpone the big bad from using another cast of Disintegrate. And another turn could make the difference between you having a party member or just a pile of ash. And for those thinking that this could very easily be overpowered, don't worry, there is a cap. It can only ever do a maximum of 30 damage to a cursed creature. However, you can increase the minimum amount of damage by upcasting the spell to a higher level. This kind of spell is what I like to call a high-risk, high-reward kind of spell. But even with that risk, it's almost always worth it to give the big bad at least a little bit of a pause before they cast that 9th level meteor storm. So if you ever want to make Vecna doubt his choice of spells, pick up Vengeful Burden, because I'm sure it'll impress. Next up for today, we have the 1st level spell, Siphoning Strike. You empower your weapon with the Hunger of the Void, and your next attack siphons life essence from your target, healing you for the total damage dealt. Since it's only a 1st level spell, you can just pick it up at level 1, making it super accessible. While it doesn't deal any additional damage, the fact that you heal for all of the damage you deal with that strike very easily makes up for that. And considering it's a bonus action, you can cast it in the same round as you get the benefits. This is an amazing early game sustain spell, which can even be used in mid to late tiers, since there's no restrictions on combining it with other benefits. Giving this to a frontline melee combatant gives him a little bit of extra sustain, so the healer can spend a little bit more time focusing elsewhere. So if you're sick and tired of playing a healer, you should at least get your party to take a look at Siphoning Strike. Before we move on to the 3rd spell, I want to let you know that these spells are all from a module I'm writing called Compendium. It has over 100 spells, 6 subclasses, alongside a bunch of feats, magic items, and creatures you can use at your table today. All of these spells will be released for free and on DNDbeyond when these videos go live, but if you wanted to see a little sneak peek of everything, you can join as a member or patron down below to get access now. But don't worry if you can't, because all of the content within the module will be slowly released over time. Now, with that shameless plug out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about our 3rd spell for today, the 6th level Syphon Essence. You siphon the life essence of all creatures of your choice within 60 feet. Creatures must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 8d8 damage or half as much on a successful save, and for each creature hit by this spell, the caster heals 1d8. So if you hit 5 creatures, you heal 5d8. If you're a D&D connoisseur, then there's likely 2 things you'll first notice about this spell. Firstly, that it uses Constitution saving throws, which is less than ideal since it is technically the best save among all creatures in 5th edition. And secondly, that the damage really isn't all that amazing. The reason I placed this at a 6th level is because of neither of those, but rather because of the range. A 60-foot radius means a 120-foot diameter circle, and if you don't know, that's a pretty damn big area. The amount of creatures you could fit into that area is, quite frankly, a bit absurd. Obviously, this is a huge factor in this spell, because the number of creatures you hit directly impacts the amount of healing you receive. So while the damage isn't crazy, it definitely provides a bit of utility and some additional sustain to your squishy necromancer buddy. Now, for the 4th spell on today's list, we have another curse style spell, the 3rd level Ire of Shadows. You mark an enemy with the Ire of the Shadowfell, and your next attack that hits them deals an additional 4d6 necrotic damage. When this occurs, the creature must make a Constitution saving throw or be stunned until the end of its next turn. For a 3rd level spell, it really doesn't do all that much damage, but there's 2 main reasons I placed it there. Firstly, it automatically deals 4d6 damage with no saving throws, meaning it is automatic, guaranteed damage. And second, there's a chance to stun the target. Guaranteed damage is incredibly powerful in 5th edition, which is why so many people love Magic Missile, and this spell can kind of be thought of like that. And if that creature does get stunned, your entire party gets to take their entire round of attacks with advantage because that poor bum is stunned. So considering those two things, it might even be a little bit too powerful for a 3rd level spell. But for now, I place this as a 3rd level spell because the damage is pretty mediocre and it is a Constitution saving throw. And now we move on to our 5th and final spell for today, the 6th level Circle of Binding. You conjure a 30-foot radius binding sigil on the ground at a point you can see within 150 feet. Creatures in that sigil must make a strength saving throw taking 10d6 necrotic damage or half as much on a successful save. If a creature fails that save, they immediately become restrained by void tendrils. Restrained creatures can attempt to break free by repeating the saving throw at the end of each of their subsequent turns. This spell is a really fun lockdown spell that deals some significant damage and has amazing utility. Since this is a one-time cast and is not concentration, once a creature breaks out of the restraint, they are free. But that does allow you your concentration while they are restrained if they fail their save. And considering the restrained condition gives disadvantage on dexterity saving throws, it's not hard to imagine what spell might come next. So if you ever want to control the battlefield with a little bit of necrotic flair, pick up Circle of Binding because it can very easily achieve that. But that does it for 5 new necromancy spells. If you want to see more of my homebrew spells, you can check out the playlist in one of the corners or the description, or if you want to get early access to my entire homebrew collection, become a member or patron down below. Also, if you don't mind, I would love to hear what your thoughts are on the spells. Leave a comment below and let me know. I read every comment, almost always reply, and who knows, I might even feature your comment in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on Friday.